Coming up on Grady Newsource, business occupation tax certificates are due tonight. Have you applied? We'll see what happened at the last day of the Georgia General Assembly session. Plus, we'll get an update on the construction of the Classic City Arena. All this and more, live at 5.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening. I'm David Eberly. Welcome to Grady Newsource Live at 5. We begin with breaking news from Atlanta, where a car crashed into the gate of the FBI building shortly after noon. The driver has been taken into custody by the DeKalb County Police Department and was transported to Grady Memorial for evaluation. No apparent injuries were sustained, and agents are checking the car as a precaution, according to an FBI spokesperson. I spoke with a witness who works opposite of the scene of the crash, who asked to be referred to by her first name, Shell, about precautions being taken in the surrounding area.
There's just
no one has came over to let us know that we need to be evacuated or nothing, so there's no issues going on over here on our end.
Shell also stated that the scene is now clear, but will continue to monitor developments and keep you updated throughout the course of the show. And now to Athens, where today is the deadline to submit renewal applications for the 2024 business occupation tax. Grady Newsource reporter Molly Langdon spoke to business owners today and joins us live at the Athens-Clarke County City Hall to tell us more. Molly?
Hey David, there are just hours left before the business occupation tax application is due for Athens-Clarke County businesses. If you miss the deadline today, then you will incur a 10% late penalty fee for the amount due. There is also a $50 administration fee for every application that is processed. You must present your regulatory matter qualifications before you are able to obtain this certificate. Let's talk to two local business Athens owners and see what this application process was like for them.
This application is required for new businesses before their operations and can be found on the Athens-Clarke County government website. Aaron Gibbs applied for the occupational tax for his short-term rental business called the Downtown Bungalow in January.
You apply for your business, that comes back almost immediately, and then for us registering for that short-term rental, it was probably a week or so it wasn't bad at all.
Big Savings Appliances owner Jengi opened her business 8 months ago in Athens and has had a smooth application process with her zoning regulations since finding this space.
We didn't do much to it. For zoning, actually, like I said, we didn't do much, just painted the floor and painted the wall, and that's it. Yeah, we didn't knock down any wall or anything, so it was easy.
Don't forget to submit your application postmarked by midnight tonight to avoid any late penalty fees. Back to you in the studio, David.
A house fire on Field Avenue Sunday morning has left residents without a home. The fire started in the attic, but it could not be saved by first responders on the scene. Fortunately, none of the residents were inside the building at the time, and the Athens Fire Department has notified the Red Cross to assist the victims. Firefighters stress the importance for all citizens to have smoke alarms, as they can be life-saving in emergencies. Governor Brian Kemp has just under 40 days to decide what to do about legislation finalized last Thursday in the Georgia General Assembly. Grady Newsource reporter Sarah Fredrickson has more on which bills passed and which ones failed.
State representatives and senators worked until almost 1 a.m. before officially adjourning for the last time. House Representative Marcus Wiedower said that despite the chaos, he was excited about the work the House had done.
My first year down here, somebody told me that of the 30 that person had been here, not a single one had been the same. That's certainly holding true this year.
But others at the Capitol weren't too happy with some of the legislation passed during the session. 2 students from the University of Georgia were just some of many at the Capitol protesting controversial legislation.
Just the fact that our legislators are proposing these types of bills that would directly harm like us and people we know is very, very sad. And it speaks to a complete disconnect between a lot of these politicians and the people that they're supposed to be advocating for.
We apologize for technical difficulties. One of our stories is not coming in properly. Apologies. A Madison County nonprofit hosted its first light-up obstacle course for horses and their riders on Saturday. Grady Newsource reporter Mackenzie Baker shares how such events support community members like veterans and first responders.
The rescue hosted its first Light Up the Night obstacle play night at Spirit Ridge Farm on Saturday. Both horses and riders had the opportunity to go through the obstacle course in both the light and dark. Vicki Blackwell, a former volunteer with the California Sheriff Mounted Unit, used to do trainings like this all the time.
I just love doing the obstacles and trying to work with your horse and getting them braver and used to more situations.
The Rescue at Spirit Ridge Farm is a nonprofit in Madison County that specializes in equine-assisted coaching. They host workshops for veterans, first responders, and persons in addiction recovery, plus programs for at-risk children with PTSD. Sabre Rockwell, director of the nonprofit, rode with the Mobile Mounted Unit for 13 years, and when she retired, returning to civilian life was challenging for her. Through saving and caring for horses, she was able to adjust to her new life and find a purpose in service. Now, she gets to help people like veterans who may be struggling like she was.
Some people just don't respond to normal therapy.
Yeah.
And so this has been their ticket back into society.
1 in 5 veterans suffer from PTSD and/or depression, according to Heart of Horse Sense. In a Fort Carson pilot study, the rate of suicide was reduced by 62% because of equine therapy. Most workshops at the rescue follow the same pattern. They're designed to train horses and their riders how to act in different environments. This event also acts as the first in a 3-part clinic, with the remaining clinics set to be held at Cece Callie's Chasing Rainbows Ranch. Callie views these events as ways for her to give back to horses and people in the community in need of support.
You take a broken horse and you put it with a broken person, and the healing that takes place it's phenomenal.
For Grady Newsource, I'm Mackenzie Baker.
Apologies for technical difficulties. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp has just under 40 days to decide what to do about legislation finalized last Thursday in the Georgia General Assembly. Grady Newsource reporter Sarah Fredrickson has more on which bills passed and which ones failed.
State representatives and senators worked until almost 1 in the morning before officially adjourning for the last time. House Representative Marcus Widower said that despite the chaos, he was excited about the work the House had done.
My first year down here, somebody told me that of the 30, that person had been here, not a single one had been the same. That's certainly holding true this year.
But others at the Capitol weren't too happy with some of the legislation passed during the session. 2 students from the University of Georgia were just some of many at the Capitol protesting controversial legislation.
Just the fact that our legislators are proposing these types of bills that would directly harm like us and people we know is very, very sad. And it speaks to a complete disconnect between a lot of these politicians and the people that they're supposed to be advocating for.
2 of those bills passed were about immigration. One would penalize cities and counties that violate the state's ban on sanctuary policies. The other would require law enforcement agents to cooperate with ICE, detaining those that commit misdemeanors and cannot prove their legal immigration status. These 2 bills were created after the murder of former UGA student Laken Riley. Representative Widower was just one of the dozens of representatives wearing a Laken button to commemorate her and the death of UGA freshman Wyatt Banks.
You know, it's been a tough year for back home. We've had a lot of turmoil, a lot of loss. That was a tough week, not just with Laken, but also with Wyatt, and just always keeping them in our thoughts.
Another bill passed about voting protections bans the use of QR codes for counting ballots, creates new rules for challenging voter qualifications, and could allow more candidates to qualify for Georgia's presidential ballot. There were also some key pieces of legislation that didn't pass, including a bill that would ban transgender girls from high school sports, another one that would legalize online sports betting, and finally, a bill that would expand Medicaid.
Governor Brian Kemp has just 40 days now to either let a bill pass without his signature, sign it, or veto it. I'll keep you up to date with all his latest decisions. For Grady Newsource, I'm Sarah Fredrickson.
Bigger Vision of Athens community goes beyond offering just a bed for the homeless community in Athens and the surrounding counties. Grady Newsource reporter Ashley Simmons has the story on how the shelter is providing support for the homeless through dignity, empowerment, and community support.
The overreaching goal of Athens Community Shelter, Bigger Vision, a nonprofit homeless shelter, is to provide assistance to individuals not only in Athens but also in the neighboring communities.
So Bigger Vision of Athens started off as an emergency winter shelter, and then a few years ago we expanded to an all-year shelter. So the goal is just to provide dinner and nighttime sheltering for adults of any age, condition, what have you.
Despite Athens being a relatively small community, the rate of homelessness has surged at a pace surpassing the statewide trend. The last updated homeless percentage Athens had was at 52% in 2023 of the homeless population being unsheltered. I was able to speak with someone staying at the shelter. However, due to privacy rights, I cannot show them on camera, but this is what was said. It can happen to anybody. You know, a lot of us in this day and age live one paycheck away from being homeless. All of a sudden, the rents in Athens decide to go up and your job won't support you. This place makes a huge difference for me. Bigger Vision of Athens give those in need a safe place to stay for up to 180 days out of the year.
Most people get their first step inside of Bigger Vision when they're a guest here trying to receive services. Our emergency shelter program is a night-by-night program. Every night at 4 o'clock, if someone wants to stay here, they call. There's 32 people who call in tonight will get a bed for an emergency shelter.
As far as community involvement goes for this nonprofit organization, Bigger Vision is always welcoming volunteers from the community. The major volunteer endeavor that you can engage with is providing meals in the evening. However, volunteering beyond meals is always welcomed.
But if that's not your thing, we are always looking for individuals who want to just walk in and engage with the community. Facilitating conversations is one of the most important things you can do here, making people feel seen and heard.
A part of Bigger Vision of Athens' mission is to also help the homeless achieve their goals in self-sufficiency, transitioning into regaining stability.
Able to kind of move on from this situation into really taking care of themselves and being able to give back.
It is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is serving the Athens community for those who are in need or are experiencing homelessness. For Grady Newsource, I'm Ashley Simmons.
Coming up after the break, Grady Newsource reporter Carly Ferris gives us an inside look into the projected opening for the Classic City Arena and 4 potential name options for the new professional hockey team coming to Athens.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far. A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Good job. Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
The Classic City Arena will soon be open to the public after years of construction. Grady Newsource reporter Carly Ferris tells us more about what to expect.
The Classic City Arena is expected to open next fall and will be home to Athens' own professional hockey team.
between UGA and the pro team, we'll probably have about 40 to 45 hockey dates, but we're looking at doing about 125 events and 300 event days in total.
On Thursday, the Classic Center and Athens Professional Hockey held a press conference where they revealed the team's start date of October 26. They also announced 4 potential names for the team: the Athenians, the Athens Owls, the Classic City Panic, and the Rock Lobsters. There will be a final fan vote to select the name.
So I think it kind of runs the gamut of like fun, minor league team name, and they also speak to Athens, and I think pay tribute to our music history as well.
The Classic City Arena is being funded by SPLOST, which is a 1% sales tax used for building public projects. The facility will have the capacity to hold 8,500 people and can be used for various occasions, including concerts, sports tournaments, banquets, and general sessions. With Grady Newsource, I'm Carly Ferris.
The Covenant Presbyterian Church hosts a food drive every Thursday. Their goal? To combat food scarcity for both the homeless and struggling Athens residents. Grady Newsource reporter Emily Wisnowski details the inner workings of the food bank and reactions from local residents and government officials.
Fresh fruits and vegetables, meat, canned goods, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates. These are all the items included in the Covenant Presbyterian Church food pantry bags. What started out as a small office pickup in 2016 has escalated to a drive-through, pop-up tent system serving an average of 140 to 180 bags of food each Thursday every year. Employees and volunteers start by sorting all of the items into paper bags. Then, they load them up into shopping carts and prepare for distribution. The distributors then bring the bags of food to each car. Hope Grismer, the food bank shift captain, says each bag contains a week's worth of groceries with one goal in mind: varied, nutritious options.
And a lot of the things that we do give in the bags is often really nutritious food, produce, and kind of those frozen meats. So you feel like it's a very sustainable practice.
The customer base ranges heavily as the food drive serves individuals from all walks of life, from those who maybe couldn't meet ends meet one week to those experiencing homelessness with no direct source of food available. 27.1% of Athens residents fall into the poverty line, according to the United States Census Bureau. This number does not include those experiencing homelessness in Athens. One resident, Jesse Romine, had nothing but thanks to give for the food drive and local community members assisting.
I thank everyone that facilitates with the Homeless Manifest and when people are in time of need. And always thank you.
One limitation the food drive is experiencing is reaching individuals without any means of transportation who do not reside close to the church. Athens Clarke County Housing and Development Administrative Assistant Andrea Livingston says that while the church and local food bank's efforts are not connected to the local government, their actions are highly appreciated by it.
We support all efforts to serve the low-income community, which is what Presbyterian is doing, so we applaud them for that.
Reporting for Grady Newsource, I'm Emily Wisnowski.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to Grady Newsource. I'm Hannah Dindy with your sports update for today. First, the latest with March Madness news. UConn beat out Illinois and Alabama beat out Clemson on Saturday, so UConn and Alabama are the first teams to meet up in the Final Four. On the other side, Purdue beat out Tennessee yesterday and NC State beat out Duke, for Purdue and NC State to be the final two teams in the Final Four. Tomorrow night, the UGA men's basketball team will take on Staten Hall in the National Invitational semifinals at 9:30 p.m. The UGA women's softball team evened up the series with Arkansas with the win yesterday with a score of 8-2. The series rubber match will be tonight at Jack Turner Stadium at 7 p.m. The UGA men's baseball team lost their series to Tennessee 2-1 in Knoxville on Sunday. Both teams evened up their series after Saturday, but Tennessee ended up winning the series after the game Sunday. Caitlin Lyons, a graduate on the University of Georgia's equestrian team, was named SEC Student Athlete of the Year with a 3.96 GPA. And that's all for your sports report today. From Grady Newsource, I'm Hannah Dindy.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Welcome back. I'm Lucy Birch here to give you the latest on weather. We had a slightly cloudy day with warm weather, but a 20% chance of rain and a high of 80 and a low of 65. As we head into Tuesday, we can expect partly sunny with a high of 83 and a low of 59. There's an 80% chance that rain will be tonight and there will be wind gusts picking up. We can expect Tuesday night showers to continue on to Wednesday morning, but it will clear up with sunny skies and continue to be clear skies throughout the night. The high will be 68 with a low of 42. On Thursday, we can expect sunny skies with a high of 62 and a low of 38. And we'll end the week with sunny skies on Friday and a high of 64 and a low of 37. With all that rain and sunshine, spring is officially in full swing and the bees are out. They might seem scary, but they are really important. We can thank our food supplies to bees. Yes, bees. These buzzing bees pollinate 15 billion worth of U.S. crops, and a third of our diet is bee pollinated. But the bee colonies have decreased by 5% from 2015 to 2023. While we might be in dog nation, don't discount the importance of bees. Back to you, David.
A local artist is taking his work to a nearby library for more people to see his portraits. Grady Newsource reporter Will Hopkins has more on the story.
Soon be hosting his third exhibit at the Commerce Public Library, where his wife Sandra works.
We can set it up. When artists do exhibits, and I'm no exception, we do them for exposure.
The library enjoys having his work on the wall.
We like to have art in our auditorium because we use the auditorium for a lot of different events.
The library is also excited for new people to see what someone near and dear to their community has to offer.
So because our community is growing so much here in Jackson County, Commerce, there are a lot of people that have never seen Abner's art. We're also hoping that maybe he had a couple of new works he might want to share with us.
Cope says it takes him on average about 2 months to complete his portraits, although this one was completed in just 4 days.
When you spend hours and hours and hours on one painting, it would be a shame to hide it in your studio.
Even this quick painting, though, takes a lifetime.
Every time you start a new painting, it's going to be the result of all those years of all the work that you've done to that point.
Cope will also be speaking to people about his portrait techniques.
By highlights, that's a highlight. It's a cool highlight.
Abner Cope's reception and gallery talk is set to begin here at the Commerce Public Library at 5 p.m. tomorrow evening. His exhibit will be available to view from tomorrow, April 2nd, until the end of the month at the meeting room during normal library hours. Will Hopkins, Grady Newsource.
This is not an April Fool's joke. The Powerball has grown to $1 billion and the drawing will be tonight at 11 p.m. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us at Grady Newsource, and good night.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Yeah, I hope, I don't know how many have signed up, but I hope there's...
I feel like usually the false messages are kind of smaller.
Yeah, I think you won't have a problem, but I can't say... Yeah, but do it as soon as possible. So.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, Lizzie. Thank you, Liz. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you. Today, when things go wrong, we learn the most. But I wish they don't. They don't go wrong. We've got again. How do you? Our former engineer Tom White is here. Brought a crew to see the kitchen of what they installed, the broadcasting equipment that we use here at Grady Newsource and other schools and organizations. So they came to see how their equipment is used, and I guess you got a pretty good idea of how it's used and the things that could go wrong, and maybe you can think of workarounds so that we don't have one late package causing such havoc to the rest of, maybe you have some ideas, I don't know. But this is what actually happened, and I'd like to have Sailor explain and tell us, the do's and don'ts and how do we avoid this in the future, and what happened exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have good news and bad news first and foremost. Bad news is what you just witnessed with the whole choppy audio. Good news is we're going to re-upload it with Mackenzie's package airing as normal, just cutting out that choppiness and re-uploading it. That'll be up there by tomorrow morning. So in terms of a track record, y'all will be clean on that front. In terms of the actual, what went down live, so the entire domino effect that you saw was one package coming in late. It was in Small Tree, it wasn't in Rundown. It got plugged into Rundown during the actual live show, freezing Sarah's package where it was, and then that created the whole domino effect. We took back to David. He didn't know what to do. Handled yourself very well, I will say. But in terms of that getting in late, when we actually started to transcode that package so it could play, that's where ish got choppy. So in terms of how to make that preventable in the future, really just getting your packages in on time. That's the
4:30 is cutoff
thing.
time. If your package is not, of course, all rules are made to be broken. If you're working on a breaking news story, yes, we'll make an exception. But again, 4:30 is a very hard deadline because you see what happens. The whole show gets out of whack and is just not a good look, right? I think we all agree, and it's really important to.
Yeah, and big props to Anna Ruth, too. She really kept her cool through that entire thing when it was really easy to abandon ship after that many dominoes fall.
And run away.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well as Mackenzie, too. I'm sorry you had to see that live. I know it's really frustrating with the whole day, and then you get to see it really, really, really chopped up. So
because what I wanted to do is jump out of your package to save it and have David apologize, toss to break, and get things fixed. But Sailor said even the break will sound the same. There's no way we could go anywhere or do anything. So guys, just for what it's worth, I hope this is helping you figure out workarounds, because we couldn't play anything. Anything we played would have sounded the same way until that package actually downloaded. And so whatever you can do to, because that's what I thought, when I was on air, we would usually, if everything. Are you taking notes or? Okay, because it's a little distracting. So where was I? Who was I? So we would toss to break and get things organized. The viewers will understand, hopefully, and then we'll come back from the break, run as long as a break as we needed to get things where we wanted them, and then continue the show. This time, I don't think I remember, and I've been on the air, I don't want to tell you how long because I'm very old, but something like this has not happened to me on live air. I can't remember where we couldn't go to break and reorganize. So that's something that I was a little surprised as well, that we couldn't do anything. We were just frozen out of any options. But David, you handled it very well. Anna Ruth, you handled it very well. So I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah, really just overall good news is that it's going to be re-uploaded with that package audio fixed. Props to David and Anna Ruth, really. Those are the MVPs of today for really holding that fort down when dominoes started to fall. But yeah, we're fully transparent with tech going into the show, after the show, anything like that. If y'all have anything that you want to take up with us, I know Will's pointed out before, when audio is delayed on the video, we were able to fix that. Anything like that, just let us know and we'll do our best to fix that ASAP.
And thank you, you kept your cool. And we had to figure it out because, what do we do? And Tom, do you have anything you want to say? Do you want to add to that, or?
No, that deadline is tough.
Yeah.
When you insert the video, you got to make sure it's not a video. That's all.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. We can't. This is going live, so that's why I'm a good reporter, or a good reporter does not surrender her mic.
For what it's worth, I graduated from this program in 2010, and we have the exact same things going on, right? You got to hit deadline. You can't be uploading. We used, I can't remember what we used to use, but it was the exact same story, right? Where one package can kind of derail everything. So there you go. Some things don't change.
And did you ever derail everything?
I have, yes. I would get yelled at pretty bad by Zinski.
All right. Yeah, so, well, the good news is that when things go wrong, people learn the most, actually. So, yeah, we had a very, very interesting day today. From my point of view, we had to deal with anonymous sources, and I had to talk to other faculty, and we had a workaround which you guys can learn. If you have anonymous sources for a good reason, you cannot show them on camera. A workaround is, I don't know if you saw that in Ashley's package, is to just have, instead of sound bites, because the voice, even if you're not showing the source's face, the voice can be very recognizable. Every person has a very unique voice. So we couldn't do this, so I asked Ashley to just do a graphic with a quote. And that's a workaround that you can take away in the real world. Again, anonymous sources is something that we very, very rarely do. And I would think that wherever you work as journalists, that would be something that's a last resort for a very, very good reason. So I thought that I'll share the workaround. And that's why I ask you to pitch your stories to me, those solution stories, so that we can straighten out these kind of things before time. We dealt with breaking news, and we had our intrepid anchor who I nicknamed him today Mr. Contact, because he helped Carly with a contact. She had she was quick turn, she had a great source, but she felt like her package wasn't, she wanted to complete it. So she did another story, and I think it turned out very well, thanks to David, Mr. Contact, who continued to surprise us today. And I want you to share with us your adventure. All of a sudden we saw that there was breaking news, and so we talked and we decided that we were going to start the show with breaking news. We decided that David was going to, in addition to a lot of other things he did today, he was going to write it, because as an anchor it's best to write your own stuff, especially when it's breaking news, because you have to keep updating it to the very last moment. He managed to get the FBI to email him, primary source. He managed to get a person who witnessed it, who in the last moment said, oh, I thought this was for class. I don't want to be, I don't want my soundbite to be on it. So she decided, okay, if you just use half of my first name, I'll be fine with this. And so we had to be transparent, used half of her name. And so we learned so much, and I'm sharing it because all of you are learning to take this with you in the real world and impress your future bosses with all. These are simple workarounds, but these things challenge you. I mean, today I was, quite challenged at certain moments, and I had to talk to other faculty to kind of figure things out. We had a lot of very, very interesting situations, and I want to hand you the mic and just share with others what you learned and how you got these things done. And I hope you like your new nickname. And I'll be back. Just as you keep talking, I'm listening.
I mean, I wouldn't even really call it like learning anything. I think at this point, the only reason I say that is because I'm pretty sure each and every single one of us has had to go through something at this point where everything falls through, and you've got to have something to lean back on, and you do whatever it takes to do that. So that was really all my adventure was today. Was trying to help everybody out and whatever I could. And then I will say that the whole thing with the one soundbite and her saying all that stuff at 4 p.m. was definitely not ideal. But, I mean, everyone in here knows you just got to work through it, do your best. Yeah, that's it.
For creativity, for contacts. And I've got one more person who deserves. I mean, you all deserve today Play-Doh, but if I give it to everybody, then I actually have one. I'm privileged. I'm the professor. Actually, you all deserve it, but if I give it to everyone as I want to, then they won't be that special because but you definitely deserve that today. Yep. Yes, for being so generous, also team player, and yeah, so Anna Ruth, you want to share? You want to grab the mic and share with us?
Yeah, so
first time producing baptism.
Yeah, that
by
was
fire.
my first time producing. But yeah, everything honestly was fine throughout the day. Like everyone was doing good, and then it was just kind of challenging when we were really behind on the show, because like I didn't want to get rid of Will's package because like I know that he had worked really hard on that, and so we kind of had to make the decision to like get rid of all of the teasers, which was like definitely not what I wanted to do because like it just doesn't flow as good. And then also the like not doing the PSA because like if that was in the real world, like those are like advertisements that like we would have bought, I guess.
So we did one less commercial so that we could get Will's,
which obviously I wanted to prioritize that.
Yeah.
And so
we didn't. Yeah, we had to kill it in the real world. We would have killed your package, and it would have looked really bad because then the anchor comes from break and says bye-bye without anything, right? So it's not a good look. But we wanted to get everybody's content in, so we got rid of one PSA, which is a commercial in the real world, which is not good because that's how people get paid in a private company, through the commercials. But we're learning, and your package was really very interesting.
Yeah. And it was a really good way to end the show too. So, but like besides that, and like Hannah and Lucy, y'all both did so good. And like, I know it's not easy to go like when I'm telling you you're doing one thing the whole day, and then like we have to change pretty last minute. But you guys both like handled that really, really well, and like you would have never known that that was the case. So y'all both did really good, and y'all are both really good on camera. So, I think, and the live shot, Molly, that was so awesome. Like,
Molly
you did so
very
good.
Live. I mean, you also find those stories, and and you're very comfortable. You were ad-libbing, and
it was really good, and it definitely made the show a lot better. And we had no technical problems. Like all the sounds sounded great. You sounded great. You looked great. So I was happy with that.
Yeah. I feel like I need more Play-Dohs. I will go and get some more because I'm realizing, Anna Ruth, I'm realizing that you deserve one as well with everything. And yes, and I think I need 2 more Play-Dohs. Hold on a second. You guys earned them. Then next one is Molly. I thought your live was excellent. It wasn't easy, and you deserve one. It matches your shorts, and and one thing that she noticed, which was very impressive, she noticed that you were standing in front of City Hall, and we couldn't tell it was City Hall. And so she had your volunteer pan the camera to where we could see the sign. And that is one of the many things that earned you the Play-Doh today. Because, yeah, and it's your first time, you know. So very well done, the mini package, yeah. And then this is for Sarah. Where is Sarah? That was an excellent wrap. I mean, I was just taking notes. You had Widower, you had the protesters, the protest with the gnat sound. You had them inside, so you had them outside. Then you had the two sources inside. Then you had, you had that stand-up with, just kind of showing us how much. And throughout this beat, this wasn't easy for you, and you put your heart into it. This is not an easy, first of all, the subject matter is not easy. Secondly, you have to drive all the way to Atlanta. Very well done. So I'm really, really happy with this, and I'm glad Anna Ruth, took a quick decision to rerun it, and Sailor also. Ashley the Sojo, we talked about that, and it was a very important, very important story, and despite all the issues that we had, I think it came together well. Just kind of keep trying to stabilize your video. It was shaky video. I like the way your B-roll was interesting, where you showed the people from behind, and you had the forethought to do that. However, there was no independent source. I didn't see anybody who was independent in it. And again, if I had that pitch, you told me what your idea was. If I had that pitch, I could have helped you, and we could have avoided a lot of things. But that's okay. I think it was a very important story, very good idea to have, and just kind of keep working on the video being stable with a tripod. And but that was an important story for us to have, and that's why she had it in the A block, because she really thought it was important for all these people, who are unhoused, and so that's it was important to have it. Carly, again, she was like, she came, she was all sweating and everything, and I told her, I said, if you were staying here in the air-conditioned place where everybody else was, you wouldn't have gotten this story, and that you did double duty, and that was really impressive. And that's what, in the real world, if you're sitting in the newsroom, you're not really reporting that much. And you went there and you got us this important update, and so I have to go and get more Play-Dohs, but enough, because they're not going to be as special as, but it was Play-Doh worthy. And I'll get you a Play-Doh. And Emily, that was a very interesting, I agree that the Atlas-Clarke County audio was sort of an independent point of view. I agree. But again, it wasn't on camera. It was very kind of, I wish it was on camera, but I thought your story also was important, and it came together, and that qualifies as an independent source, even though it wasn't on camera.
Yeah, I wanted it to be in camera too, but then again, I can't. I'm tired. I think that on Easter.
Yeah.
But 2.5 hours, and I'm 2 hours away from that.
Yeah. Nice B-roll, very stable, very interesting, good-spirited stand-up. I thought it was a very good story. Yeah. I couldn't tell because you pitched another story, and then all of a sudden yesterday it's like oh, okay. Because she had a very interesting initial pitch, which I really liked. And then all of a sudden yesterday I'm looking at the pitch sheet, and it's like, oh. And I went back, I said, am I going out of my mind? She didn't pitch that story, so I went and I checked. I did, it's like, sure enough, no, that's not the story she pitched. But again, I thought it came together very well. And as you see, guys, I'm not making this up. There's data and also people. We see that in the kinds of stories that are really trending at Grady Newsource. People like these stories. And so we had two very, very important Sojo stories today. The sports and the weather were good. Sorry, we had to cut them down to the minimum, but you guys had a good presentation. I like how you smiled at the end of the bees, and in the beginning you were a little too serious with the bees. Maybe you were worried about something, but you look beautiful, both of you, and that was good. Will, I told you I really liked your package. It added some diversity also, because we don't have that as much. We have it in Athens, but then I also thought this was really an important point of view and such a beautiful portrait. You had those close-ups. I love art, so I was looking forward to that package. And this guy's really very talented, and the way you shot it was very good, and the way you conceived it was very good, and the way you ended it, pointing people that tomorrow, the door is open. Very well done. So we had a lot of, despite the technical difficulties, we had a lot of strong content. I'm really proud of you. The breaking news with sourcing, we had several, the challenges we had to deal with. I would like to hear from any of you, if anything you'd like to share, an adventure you had. How about we hear from the digital producer? How are things on that front?
Everything was good. We promoted the Sojo story kind of late in the day, but we got something up about that. And then, what else did we do? We did, the hockey story was really good for a poll. So we have...
Oh, with the name. Oh.
Yeah, we have almost 100 votes on that. So people really like that.
Oh, wow.
And then...
So what are you going to do with it? Let's do something with it on Wednesday.
I'll do it, sports anchor.
Yay! I love it. I love it. Think of how you're going to... Mr. Contact? Okay. Very nice.
Yeah. Other than that, just everyone did a great job. All the packages we put up look really good. So.
Wonderful. And are we getting anything for our Sojo show? Anything?
So what we did today is we posted the results to the poll and kind of promoted it, here are the top 3 issues you voted for.
Okay. And did you get any engagement? No.
Not really.
I guess people, it's too serious. I don't know, but yeah. But we'll keep trying. Yeah. Anybody else wants to add something? Carly, do you want to add something, or you had an adventure today?
Yeah, so I went into the day with one story and came out with a completely different one. So that was kind of fun to sort of still have something to put in the show, even though I didn't really plan on that initially. But again, thankful to Mr. Contact for getting that set up giving me the contact to set that up. And then thankfully he was available, so I got that interview, some good B-roll, and a pretty interesting story.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I am really proud of you guys. From the very beginning, you've been quite an extraordinary group, and I've had some, I get really good students, but you guys are really impressive, and let's keep that going. On Wednesday, already we've got some stories in the making, and so we've got, I think, we have 2 more news shows, and then we have our Sojo show. Again, I'm really relying on you to get those officials to join. Yes, Hannah, anything about the Sojo show you want to? All right. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Wednesday, you're not on it. I took you off because you're working on the Sojo show. So that Monday, yes. So I overdid it probably. Okay, I will. I will look at the. I will look and see. You might be quick turn if I don't have enough MMJs. And yeah, so assume you're doing quick turn. Okay, and thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. Anything else? Is anybody doing 3 things or something? Yeah. Yeah, guys, everybody needs a good push, you know, because we are all procrastinators. We need a good. Yeah, anything else, guys? Any other questions? All right, well, I really look forward to Wednesday. Let's keep going till the last moment and doing. So the live shot was not that scary, right, Molly? It worked out. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you let go, and for me, it's like what I'm doing is I'm talking to my anchor, and that's all I visualize, one person, and that helps me. It relaxes me, makes me more conversational, and it makes me speak to a person. It totally transforms my presentation. So, yeah, I really loved breaking news. That was my nickname, David, Relitsa Breaking News Vasileva. That's what my boss gave me that break. I seem to attract it all the time, and I really did well with it, yeah. But in live stuff, yeah, I just loved live, and did a lot of live, and the kind of job that I had, yeah, sometimes for hours. And and writing your breaking news, I enjoyed doing that as well, kind of till the last moment. And guys, I had David take his computer to the set. If you're anchoring, you can take your computer. I would kind of update my scripts till the last moment on my computer on the set. And we have a good teleprompter. It automatically updates, so you can keep going with it. Love you guys, impressed. Go get some rest, well deserved, and yeah.